Where'd you go? We're live. We're live and in person. That's right. Right here. Live and in person. Let's see if I can find anybody.
What the heck happened, man?
I don't know, that same thing happened last time we did this.
It's this thing. No, you like moved your thing and it went weird, and then it said sync with broadcasting or something. I don't know. This is your software, man. You know, you're the one that said to use this awesome stuff.
I still think it's pretty good.
We'll see. All right. Anyways, just kidding. All right. So let's see where we're at. We live anywhere?
Yeah.
We are.
We're
That's all.
live. We're live in G3.
Whoa, there's
Live
four
in
people.
Shaggy's.
Right on. It's like Beavis and Butthead. Who called us that one time? Somebody called us Beavis and Butthead. I don't know who it was.
I don't know. Somebody. We probably kicked him out.
I think it's the Alejandro guy. That's what I'm thinking. Hey guys, it's Shaggy and Frank. I see we got 6 people rolling in. It's the truth about trucking with what's up, what's up, what's up. It's the truth about trucking. We're getting geared up here while we get our screens all pulled in. All right. Gordon says, "What's up? What's
What's
up,
up?
Gordon? You're in your group, right?
Yeah.
Good. So if you see somebody, I can see the page in YouTube over here. We see my group over there, your group over there. We're on. We're rolling.
We're everywhere.
Cool.
We're
We're
nationwide,
everywhere.
man. We're
Nationwide.
international. We're all over.
That's awesome. All right, guys. So it's the truth about trucking, and we're gonna just get started off, man. It's been like I find out what Frank's been doing for the last couple of days, unless he told you guys all last night, and tell you what we've been doing, working on a lot of stuff. We'll talk about things that are going on. You know, the biggest time when things are rough. Anyways, and this is the truth about trucking. This is Frank G. I'm Shaggy. If anybody's new, somebody aren't. We usually get a lot of new people in here, right, Frank?
Yeah, all the time.
And so, like, anytime we have the wonderful chat over to the left of our screen or the right of yours or wherever it's at on your screen. Hey, guys, if you have questions about anything trucking, dispatching, brokering, network, relationships, all the above, everything type it in the comments so we will talk to you.
Directly.
Howdy, I'm here with me, myself, and my $7 a mile Frank. Woohoo!
Now, Frank, you look like a sheepdog every day. You're getting to look more and more. Laugh out loud. I usually can't lie, but I'm recovering from the crud and thought I would pop in.
Man, that's happening a lot everywhere. Everybody's sick right now.
But we're happy to be your crud recovery team.
We
You know what
are.
I'm saying?
Really shit, get freaking
That's what
wow.
we're here
Only
for.
come to
We're here
watch
for
us when you're
we're
crud.
just here for you. Like if you're feeling good and you're happy and shit. I don't know. I don't know if you get anything out of this, but if you have the crud, we're here for you. I want to be an agent, but no book of business. Yeah, I got that.
Oh, that's Dan Brandt, and he's been sick like crazy. He said all this stupid stuff going around.
Debbie Dingo, Charles Bundy, Jonathan Trimble. We got a
Gary's in
whole.
the house. Man, we got everybody pouring in. Guys, too, if you want to take a moment and share the screen. Guys, we're going to be, I think tonight, what the hell have you been up to all weekend? Well, then what are we talking about tonight? Like, I was going to talk about this, but then he started talking about that. But then I talked to these people today, they didn't know what the hell they're doing, and everybody else is broke as fuck. So, I mean, what topic would you want to talk about
You
having a
put on
party?
there tonight. You put on there networking, which I think is good because last night what I talked about last night was how to manage a small business, and that always leads me into you know all these people that are failing and they're not making it and they blame it on everybody else and so I kind of got into that and then of course uh so many people we've been sitting here for what how many years have we been
Five
sitting here telling
years.
people
Five.
telling
5 years.
people get off the low board because all this shit is not gonna last and you've been saying for 5 years. One of these days you're going to wake up and get out of bed and turn on the computer and the roof is going to cave in. And it did.
It
It
did.
did.
Like
And I
big.
see trucks for sale. Uh, Frank had a good show last night. Well, thank you. Thank you. Let's march on Washington, D.C. Yeah, not me. I'm not interested in that. Let's march on. Let's march on Key West, Florida. How's that? Yeah. Yeah, let's take all the trucks down there and surround whatever it is, that bell down there in Key West, Florida, where it's nice and warm and we can go fishing. We get more respect like that.
Shit, I just don't
Anyway,
know.
we talked about that, and that always leads into, we've been saying this for 5 years, and we've been talking about this for 5 years. And why don't you go? Why don't you go talk to Shaggy and find out about your business? If you opened up, and I say this all the time, and you guys think I'm being funny, but I'm not. If you're going to open a pizza restaurant, wouldn't you want to know how to cook a pizza? Wouldn't you want to know? I think maybe we should just go to Biloxi. Everybody show up and I'll give you something, whatever. Yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. I mean, wouldn't you want to know where you got to go to get pepperoni and cheese to put on your pizza? Wouldn't you want to know those things? Wouldn't you want to like have an oven to cook your pizza in? Wouldn't you want before you opened up a pizza restaurant? Wouldn't you want to know those things? Well, it's a lot cheaper. A lot cheaper. I got a friend who lives right down the street. Frank, I was always told you have to wing it till you make it. That's a lie. I don't know who told you that. That's bullshit. Okay? I got a friend that lives down the street
Hey,
from me,
that's what I
and
like
he
doing.
opened up a
You
pizza. He used to
drive the
work.
truck and go.
Yeah, he used to work for his mother, and she had this little panini joint. She makes paninis, and she's packed every day. So he goes out and he starts up his pizza joint, but he didn't have any money, and his mama loaned him $20,000, and he opened up a pizza joint. Now he has six pizza joints, six pizza joints. But he did his research first. He knew what he was doing first. And I'll give you another broad hint. And here we are, me and Shaggy, been here for 5 years, telling the truth, got nothing to sell. We ain't trying to convince anybody anything. 5 years we've been telling you this. 5 years.
Gordon
Okay?
says he's too busy. He needs owner operators for his stuff over there.
You should be able to get them because every time I flip on social media, everybody's selling your shit.
Everywhere. Like it's shit, they're flying out of the sky like freaking sheep are in a
Like crazy.
running out.
Shaggy and I were sitting here talking before we went live, and there's some guy on there. I'm so depressed. I'm going to sell my truck and trailer and just go do something else. Brand new Kenworth W900, brand new reefer trailer. Who's going to buy it?
I just don't understand when all these half these people we talk to have plans like Gordon and they're running this plan. They got their family doing things. They took like especially students from our classes, like his wife, and they're like growing like they have so much going on and then they work in the lanes and they're ready for owner operators. Like they're going up to 6, 7, and 8, 9, 10 trucks, and then other guys they can't even get past one right now. They don't even like the load boards. They're sitting there gloomy. Freightways is blue as the spot market's blue as hell. There ain't no. If you call somebody, you can't even get them on the phone.
No. And Sparky told me, and this was 6 months ago. Sparky said, if you're not already set up somewhere, if you don't already have a home, and you're just in there, and doing your work and making your money, it might be too late. That was 6 months ago. He told me that. But
Okay, so
every time
what
I
do we
see
do?
that, every time I say I'm gonna sell my equipment, well, I'm gonna park my truck, and then they start
Well,
blaming somebody
why?
else. They start blaming other people. They blame the government. The government ain't gonna help you.
But why park it? What is the
Yeah,
reason you're parking it? There's tons of freight.
because they don't know what to do. They get up every day and turn on DAT, and they think that's how you run a trucking company. That's how you do it.
I was looking at DAT and some of the hottest places in the market only have 40 loads on. And what the fuck you supposed to do when you still have a million, 2 million? What is it? 2 point what? 2 million trucking companies out there?
Yeah,
Well, minus 150,000 that went out in the last 2 months, three
yeah,
months. Huh.
yeah. But you see these things, and you instantly know that these people went out, bought some equipment, uh, and just thought you can run a trucking company off the dashboard. You can't. Someone told me there is a DAP board for brokers. Tell us about it, guys.
Somebody's fucking with us, you know that, right?
Yeah, that's That's good.
Go ahead, Frank. Tell them about your favorite board.
It's just for brokers. We get on there and we can't tell you about it. It's a secret, okay? And if you ain't got like the code, it's a 7-digit code. You can't get in there.
It's top
It's a
secret.
secret. It's top secret.
You're not gonna do it. Like the,
Yeah.
yeah, you got to be in a certain club. You have to be in a club to get on it.
There's a handshake involved and some cash. You got
If
to
you
have
don't
some money.
follow the people, well, if you don't follow, first thing you have to do is make sure you like and follow all the people on their shows. You know what I mean? Because they
Yeah.
have experience. All those YouTubers they have out there giving you that great advice. If you don't follow those guys, you can't get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you got to get the handshake code.
And
It's top secret
those
stuff.
lady trucking groups, not real women in trucking. They are cool. They are real. The other one, and they get on there and say, I wouldn't listen to nobody on Facebook except this one guy. And it wasn't me, Shaggy. It was
One
this
guy,
other guy. One guy.
one guy that has one truck and one guy.
He's a one truck guy. It's
One
all
truck
he's
guy.
ever been, you know. And he's got the worst advice anybody I've ever seen in my life. God damn. I mean, bad advice is worse than no advice. Just
How are
shut.
we getting off of this to networking? Like we're on
Well,
networking.
well, because
You
part
were
of
saying
talking,
6 months ago,
speaking of
Sparky
language,
said the fucking you're dead if you didn't network then. But what about all the people that are in the fucking group right now that are watching us, the 20
speaking,
some odd people, they're still on load boards going, I don't know what to do. Like this. They look like me right now going,
yeah, yeah, I'm gonna quit. Freight sucks.
what's he
Fuck,
talking about? So what do we
fuck
do? Like,
Trump, fuck
what do
Biden.
we,
They
what do
ruined the market.
So what do we do? What does a carrier do now on our show? They're here for advice, Frank. You've been doing this since like fucking wagon wheel days. Like there's some idiot dude that
We
scalped
talked
your
about
wheel.
this last night.
Yeah,
We
I
talked
don't
about
know.
this last night. Secret phrases like "stop whining" and "get the fucking step," and that's it. That's part of it. We talked about this
Okay,
last.
past the whining man.
These
I
brokers,
don't know what to do.
these brokers make their living selling freight to small and medium-sized trucking companies. Okay, the big mega companies, they
They
don't
do
haul
that.
broker, they don't haul broker freight. They have their own brokerages, most of them now, but they don't haul other people's broker freight. They don't do it. They don't need it. They don't want it. So what you see when you get on DAT with these other brokers and stuff is the shit left over that they don't want to haul. Well, guess what? Small and
Show me,
medium trucking companies have been making a living for decades and decades and decades, working in that gray area where the big haulers don't want to work. So you ask me what I did. I mean, years and years ago, I got into a business nobody wanted to be in. They tried it. All the big guys tried it, and within a year they were out. They were out. They can't do it. They don't want to do it. And for whatever reason, well, it's not cost effective. Well, you spend too much
are
time
you
at the
talking about the new people or you and Milk? Or the
me and
freight?
Milt.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll just explain it. Because I
so
want to do this because I'm falling out, man. I need help. Like I'm trying to figure out how to get turned around because the low board sucks. So please tell me.
you have to get your own customers. You have to find it. You got to watch people like Deb Dingo. You got to watch people like Mara Mickelson. You got to watch people like that. That uh,
Like, who,
like Joe
Maria?
Denny, like Sparky
Maria?
Anderson, that have been doing this for 30 years,
James?
and they
Oh, I
get
just
out
naming off
there
more people.
and they live in that middle part that
Okay.
nobody wants, and they make a killing.
So
They make
where?
a
So what do I got to do to network right now? If the broker's on the boards, where's all the guys that were there a year ago?
you
Like,
know
because
this
my
is
buddy
this is a
told me a
good
year
start.
ago there was tons of brokers on the boards with freight and all kinds of shit. But I got my authority 6 months later. It ain't fucking shit on that low bar. I ain't lying. So what the
Yeah,
fuck, Frank?
there never has been. You just thought there was.
What?
Yeah,
So what you trying to say? Like there was just an overflow of freight in a really weird, fucked up market, so everybody was taking
well,
advantage of it.
if you've ever done an RFP for a large company, for a big company,
Mm,
well, like for years, about 7 years, we had Southland Foods,
right?
and they do their RFP once a year, and they put it out there, and
Like
it
around now.
like right about now, and
Oh,
you do
so
it,
you're saying okay? Never mind. Go ahead. I
you
was
put
wondering.
your rates in there for next year, whatever they're going to be, whatever lane, and you can bet when you're putting those rates in there, and you see those rates because You can see up the other your competitors' rates too. You can see them all. Okay, and Walmart's the same way. You can see all those rates, and you can see some of those lanes. And you go, yeah, this shit's going to turn up on the broker boards because nobody's going to haul it. I'm not going to haul it. And I'm watching all these other carriers that are competing with me. They're not going to haul it. They don't want it. So you're going to see that shit turn up on the broker board. Sure enough, January, February, here it comes. And you turn on that, and there it is. The shit you didn't want to bid on, or you bid too much because you didn't want it. It's all there. It's all junk. So if you take that junk instead of getting a dollar less a mile, really and truly, you ought to be getting a dollar more a mile, don't you think? I mean,
No, I agree
you're
100%.
hauling shit nobody wants.
So
You're
how do I
hauling,
get the shit before that though? Because the brokers aren't on the board. My buddy Jimmy lied.
yeah. Well, it's like your buddy over in Ohio. He's got his truck. He gets in good with a co-op over there. Then pretty soon he's got 4 trucks, and they want him to buy more, and he doesn't want to buy more because he's farming and trucking. He's too busy. He doesn't want to do it, but he's got more business than he can handle, and he's probably making somewhere around 250 a year, 250 grand a year off his trucks. That's
Okay,
pretty,
well then, but the
pretty
lady
good
at the place
money.
that he got the gig from the year later retires and or gets in trouble, and somebody else comes in and kicks his ass out. So where's the networking part where I come in and find more freight? What were you saying?
Well, I don't know if you're hoping for loyalty, good luck. I mean that went out the door
I'm just
years
wanting to
ago.
find out what I'm supposed to do in networking right now
You
because
can go
I'm new
find
to
some
this business.
customers.
You've been
You're
out here
supposed
like
to
30
you're,
fucking years.
you're supposed to walk in the door like Deb Dingo did, or go to the Chamber of Commerce, or get on
So
e-carrier
you're
check
saying
and
I'm
find
supposed to
these
actually.
people and go
Well,
see
yeah,
them.
but I can't, Frank. I'm only like one truck, dude, 2 trucks. How the hell
Deb
can I
Dingo's
go
only
and do
one truck.
network off the load board? Because we're not allowed to go get customers. That's what my
Yeah,
buddy Jimmy said.
yeah. Deb Dingo's only got one truck, and the guy in Ohio only had one truck. How many times have we heard this story?
Yeah, but how do you go into big guys like Menards and these big Lowe's places and all these big dudes with one truck?
You don't want those big guys. You can't manage them, and they can't
But
manage
that's
you.
what my buddy Jimmy said. His friends all said you go after the big people because they love guys like that.
Well, they're wrong.
Huh.
They're wrong. Go
Huh.
after the small to medium shippers with good credit. There's a ton of them out there. Go
So you
there.
actually got to check credit?
Yeah, you got to check credit because you can haul all the freight you want to. If you don't get paid, you ain't done nothing.
Oh, customers don't pay their bills?
Yeah, a lot of them don't.
Huh. Wow, I learn stuff all the time in this freaking group. You know what I mean?
Deb says you go
So,
to small manufacturers. She's 100% right.
so we'll keep going because I like role playing. We used to do this all the time. Hey, do I compete with all these shippers? How do I compete with all these shippers that ask me if I can drop trailers when I only have one truck and one trailer? Oh, well, Frank, well, did he just ask, like, because I'm new to this too. So what he's saying is if he goes to a shipper, right, that has
Yeah.
drop trailers, right? And
Yeah.
he's one carrier with one truck, right?
Yeah.
Or make this, but there's 2 million carriers out there, right?
Yeah.
That probably half of them can't sell fucking customers on their own. That's why big brokers manipulate them, right?
Yeah. And a lot of them can sell it, but they can't service it. But yeah, I get your point.
Okay, so if he was to go to that customer and say, "Hey, I only got one truck, but I'm actually have a logistics side, and I already found this guy named Frank that has like 300 trucks and 400 trailers, is looking for the same freight as me. Hey, can we work for you?" That might work, right?
Yeah, that's one alternative. There's 20 ways to
So
skin the
some more,
cat.
'cause I'm confused. I was just thinking.
If you've got multiple trailers, you got to get 2.4 turns out of your trailer per week, or otherwise you're wasting your money. You got to, if you put, say, a customer says, "Well, I need a drop trailer," and you go and you got one truck, and you go, "Okay, well, I can put one trailer in there, and then I can go out, make a trip, come back, and you got my other trailer loaded, and I'm ready to go." You got to get 2 turns out of that trailer to make the payments on that trailer, which means now you got to make 4 turns. So it might not be cost effective for you to do that. And if it's not, you can just say, "No, I'll live load for you. I'll go where you want me to go, do what you want to do. I'm not going to drop trailers here." Most of the customers that I know use drop trailers for storage anyway. It's not for your benefit, it's for theirs.
So you're saying you have to actually make sure all the details when you do this, because time's a bitch sometimes, right?
Yeah, you got to know which questions to ask, you got to know who you're talking to, and you got to be able to speak the language.
So
This
you're
is what
trying?
we
Do they
do.
like? They don't
We
just?
do
You mean
trucking
they
for
just don't
years.
pay you what you want all the time, Frank? Like you
Oh
just
no.
don't go in. You don't just go.
Well,
Yeah, I'll do this for a round, and you're gonna pay me
every,
this much.
every shipper, I don't care who it is, every shipper in the world out there wants their freight delivered as cheap as possible, but they want it on time and they don't want you to tear up their freight and they don't want you to piss off their customers. And they want you to do it really, really, really cheap. If you do it and lose money, they don't care. Not
What?
their problem. Yeah.
Well,
So,
well, then
so
what the fuck's a broker for then? Are they supposed to? What is it?
brokers are marketing companies.
What?
Most of them anymore aren't trucking companies. Most of the people you talk to at a broker now don't know the front of a truck from the back of a truck. They're a sales company. They're a marketing company. They buy and sell freight from customers and then they sell it to carriers. That's what they
So you're
do.
trying to say
And
this
these
stuff
kids
right
are
now?
26 years old and they're sitting in front of a computer and they got a load and it goes from Nashville, Tennessee to Baltimore, Maryland. And they got a high number on the load, a high dollar and a low dollar. And they can't go below the low dollar or above the high dollar without getting permission.
I can tell you for a fact, I know more
They're
people out
monkeys.
there.
They're
I know
monkeys.
more people out there that have a trucking business, and when they do have a trucking business, it's usually company drivers, and they land a customer with their brokerage. As soon as they get a taste of the brokering and shit, the trucking company's gone. And later on, you'll ask them, and it's like, because I figured out how dumb people are, and they'll take this freight for fucking nothing, and I can make a ton.
You know what Deb said? There's plenty of shippers out there that don't require trailers. You know what I love about Deb? People will come up with shit. They'll make up shit. They'll come up with shit. Some reason that they get in their head that they can't do a thing. Deb always just goes right around that and goes right into. She's like,
So,
"Fuck you
guys,
talking about? How
guys,
many trailers
tonight,
you got? You got one? Can't drop one, then can you? Okay, go get a different customer. Or
yeah,
tell
so
them you can tell the one you got you can't drop one. Pretty simple shit, ain't it?
we're talking
Stop
about networking.
stop making up shit, Trimble. I mean, if you're just trying to throw us curveballs, you know,
Who is that,
nah,
Jonathan Trimble?
yeah.
He likes doing that. He's a butthead. Hey, so anybody that's watching, man, we like it. It's Frank. We're here every Wednesday at 8. That's true. If you guys have any questions about networking or starting your trucking company, your brokerage, and anything like that, I see Jonathan post all the time. He's cool.
Yeah, he's in my group.
I know. I
He's
know.
one of the guys. He's one of the. I love him. He's one of the guys in my group. He's always active. He's
I
always in
like
there.
his
He knows his
pictures,
business.
man. He's all over the place.
Yeah.
But if you guys have any comments, type your questions in the chat, man. We're here all for another 30, 40 minutes. And we're talking about networking, right? So we're at the point the
Yeah.
load boards suck, right? And you have a choice to get customers, but whoever said that's got a great point. When you go to a customer, the problem why a lot of people don't get customers as trucking companies, Frank, is because they don't know what the fuck to do with the freight if they got it. If it landed right in front of their lap, the first thing they're like, oh, hey, Frank, how much should I bid this for? I don't know. Before you got the customer, were you actually getting a paycheck in a 7-day plan where you're running a certain rate per mile on empty and loaded miles? Then why didn't you bid that?
Well, it's one out of three things. You're either lazy, stupid, or you don't know what to do. One of
But
the
why
two.
do you bid that if you know your rate? It's like, why
You,
do you got to ask? Well, how
you,
much am I leaving on the table? What the fuck does it matter if you're getting the rate per mile you need to pay your fucking bills?
yeah, exactly. Who cares? Who cares?
Well,
If you're
Johnny over there told me I'm dumb if I don't get it all from him.
well, there's that. I mean,
So
that's the game you play when
I
you
mean,
go in
as a
there.
broker, what are you going to do with the customer when Frank tells you he's got 10 loads a week and he's taking care of? You can't cover all 10 of them. You don't get the two you want. Johnny's doing
So you bid everything 220 a mile, right? Well, most of these people, unless they have a fuel surcharge program, fuel's 80 cents a mile right now. That's what we're charging for it. It's 80 cents a mile right now. So what does that leave you at 220? Buck 60? Can you run for that? Can you operate for a buck 60? What do you
so.
do if you get to the other end and you got a deadhead 300 miles to get a load back? You gonna get
What if
about,
it's a fucking where fuel's $1 a mile and then you're running
yeah,
for a buck 20? No shit, right? And most
yeah,
guys, I mean, I guess you could, but you're probably not taking out a truck payment or a trailer payment. I mean, you're probably like, I got it paid off already. So you're like, you're not saving for the future because you're counting on your pluses and your thing. You're probably not keeping out 70,000 a year for fixed costs and escrow, let alone paying yourself 120. And on top of that, because if you did that, you'd be at least 250 a mile. 240, you know what I mean? So I mean, why cut yourself less when you don't have to?
yeah.
Or do it if you want to. We don't care.
Well, it's up to
If you,
you.
if you like 220 a mile, bid it away.
Yeah. If you can run for that, because there's some guy up in Chicago right now, and he's going, yes, we can run for this. We can do. You can do 2,000. We run for this right now. He's saying it.
220.
Yeah, he's going to Miami and he's sitting down there. Somebody offers him a 73-cent load, and he goes, yes, we can do this. You can go 80 cent. You go 80 cent right now. And he's hauling that cheap shit, and that's why the low boards in the spot market suck because of that. That's the guy. He's your enemy, not me, not the government, not the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, not Shaggy, not the people on this page. That guy is your enemy because he's hauling that cheap shit. Those brokers like TQL, CH Robinson, all those guys, we could go to XPO, all. He's the guy that's hauling that cheap shit for them.
And then they gave it to somebody else because they know it's happening. And that guy will
Yeah.
sit there for some other country and make 800 calls to that one guy, makes him $100.
Yeah, or they put an ad on social media or all these other websites and shit, and they tell drivers that they'll pay them 80 cent a mile. 80 cent a mile. And you call them on the phone and you go, "Is it true you're paying the drivers 80 cent a mile?" Yes,
Frank,
it's true. Yes, it's true.
we're
You
not
come to
solving my
Chicago,
problem.
we give you brand new truck, and they put a picture of a brand new Cascadia up there. You come, you pay, and then when you get there to go through orientation, you find out when you get there that it's actually an owner operator deal you're signing up for, not a driver job.
Frank,
And they want you to pay for the maintenance, pay for the fuel, pay for this, pay for that, and they're telling you they're going to pay you 80 cent a mile, and you make your first trip and you go $382 in the hole. That's what these people are doing.
no, we didn't say that. No, we didn't say nothing like that. No, no. It's because you have the choice to use a dispatching service. No one forced you to do it. We don't even want to go there. All right, boys. Who's that? I can't see all these chat rooms we're in. This thing sucks. Hey, so Frank, we're still not sorry. You get all sidetracked in here and shit. We're trying to stay on track, man. Fucking Jimmy's got me in this fucking trucking thing 6 months later and nothing's there. When he showed me on DAT 6 months ago, man, there were so many fucking brokers on there 6 to 8 months ago. I went and got all this stuff, bought my truck and trailer. Jimmy ain't nowhere to be found. Like that motherfucker skipped town. I don't know what the hell. Like he gave his truck back to fucking Penske, and I didn't even know he had a rental truck. I thought man, you see how friends are? Now I'm on the load board, man, and I was on there all day like this. I mean, I was glued to it, and there wasn't shit on there. Like I literally counted more triple posts, double posts. It looked like somebody took RFP sheets that were left over from a toilet paper, wiped his ass, and stuck it on a sheet, and then the rates to go with it looked like shit. And it was crazy because some of the hottest places in the market, there was only like fucking 30, 40 loads. You could be on a phone for an hour waiting for a guy to sell it 10 times. But then half the people I talked
And
to
if
on
you're doing that, if you're
huh?
doing that, how many loads do you take? Go into places where you don't really want to go. If you do
Oh, I
that,
gotta chase the money, man.
if you do that, how do you find the freight that you want? If that's how you do that, how,
I
how
don't
do you
know.
do
I
that?
usually talk. I usually wait till I get to the place I'm going to, and then listen to the two guys that are there with me tell me how bright they are before they come there.
Yeah,
That's how I do it. Don't you do that? Talk to the guys that are stuck there for 3 days in Denver.
I try to.
Yeah, or one of those two truck stops over in LA.
Well, I'm switching groups here. I want to see
Hi,
who's talking.
boys. It's Candace Martin. What's up, Candace? We helped her with some insurance today. She's awesome. We were doing insurance all freaking day today. Insurance, insurance, insurance. So, hey, I'm still confused, though. So I'm on this fucking load board, man. I know you guys did it back in the Stone Age where you fucking lick sticky notes on the wall, then use a pigeon pellet, fucking pigeon and run across town, right?
Don Brandt says now RFP is request for purchase. No, it's a request for proposal. They want your rates. They want you to give them your rates, all of the rates in all of the lanes.
Well,
RFP.
oh, he says I won't start my truck less than $2,000. Hey, wait, that's a good thing.
That's
220,
good.
230, 250. I get it. I don't blame you. Everybody's got a rate. I agree with that.
Candace, what up? What up?
Candace is rocking it. She drives a truck and runs the whole show with no freaking dispatcher. What's up
I
with that?
know. She doesn't need anybody. She doesn't want
No.
anybody.
Like Superwoman.
I know.
Bro.
She
Hey,
does
back to
some
the low
weird
board. So
shit.
what do I do? because
I
I'm on
saw her
there.
on Facebook the other day. She was somewhere like in bumfuck Nebraska or somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. I said, "What are you doing there?" She said, "Making money, stacking chips."
She said that's what she was telling me. She's like freaking rolling in the dough. Like, hey, so you still haven't helped me. We're on networking, and I don't know how to network because I was told to get a load board. And when I got on the load board from Jimmy, first off, no one used me in the first 90 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For some reason. What do I do?
Then you're networking with the wrong person. Get out of that and move on to the next thing. I mean, I told people last night that you need to be following Mara and you need to be following Jess Graham. And Jess, if you're on here, I know you called me earlier. I'm sorry I missed your call. I had a little family thing going on. I'll try to call you in the morning.
So I'm still waiting on the networking.
Well, Jess got into a network thing a couple of years ago with a company that's got a shit ton of freight, and she's been with them for a couple of years now. And she
I
tells her,
found it.
she tells her connection there how much she wants to run that week and how much money she needs to make, and then she does it every week. And she's still doing it now, just like she was 6 months ago when the spot market was crazy, crazy. She's
So
still
how do we find those people, Frank? How?
talk to
It's
them
not.
on the phone, qualify them, ask them questions.
Where do I
Ask
find them?
questions. Ask
They're not on the
questions.
load board though. Where do I find those 75,000 brokers like that that just found? That's not on the load board no more. So I can be
Start out
prepared.
by asking questions. Start out when you take my girls. If you call Frank's girls at the office, they're going to say, how often are you here? How many trucks do you have? Like if I had 3 of these a week, would that be something you'd be interested in? They try to build a relationship with every carrier they talk to. If they're a good one, if they're a shitbird that turns up with a dirty trailer or throws piss bottles in the customer's yard or goes in there and cusses at them, you don't unload me in 15 minutes, I'll throw you shit in a dumpster. You'll never haul for me again or anybody I know. So
So
that's what they do. They qualify, qualify, qualify. It's a sales job. It's what it is. It's what it is. And all day long, they ask qualifying questions.
I
Where
know
are
it's
you from?
you got to stay with me here. Where do we, so if I can't go to Carrier 401 and I can't go to they're not on DAT because the directory's fucking stupid. And when I just try to look for the areas I'm looking for loads, it always seems to be the same stupid brokers. I mean, over and over, it's like the same guys. Like I'm trying to network, but I keep running into account reps and the same people. So where do I find these brokers? Like, is there a site I go to that we have that helps people put it all in one place so we can do spreadsheets? So I could call these guys and actually network with them.
No, you have to talk to them. You have to actually have conversations.
Right. So do I find them on? Can I find them on eCarrier Check?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Well,
they're
I'm
there.
getting at because the load boards aren't going to help these people. You know that. Back in
No,
old days, it was even worse when you did it first started. We talk about it all the time where you really had to have relationships, right?
well, back in when I first started, we didn't even have the internet, much less load boards. We
Yeah,
didn't
it's
have any
before
of that.
get loaded. Was that this is even before dial a truck?
No, you had to know people. You had to actually get on the phone.
So this is before the thing on a 76 rain dancers wall where you had to have a kid hold the phone.
Yeah, yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
So
Those were new. Those when those came out, that was a newfangled deal. When I first started, you just had to know people and call them on the phone.
I get it. I watch those movies too. So, if I was starting out right now, or I was already going right now, where I relied on the load board, why don't people stop and take time? Because I talked to this guy and he told me that you could go and start spreadsheets and start calling up brokers every day in your spare time, take about an hour or two a day, and find 10 to 20 different brokers, and not just to set up with them, right, as new brokers, but to ask them a bunch of questions to get them to email their freight lanes. What's the odds that those emails were actually straight from customers, Frank?
Well, they're not straight from customers, but they get transferred that way.
Oh,
They
really?
sure they
Because
sure
I
do look
swear
that
when
way.
we see
And
customers,
I've even seen some of these dumbasses like at
yeah,
Allstate. Remember those guys
yeah,
down in Columbus, Georgia? They would send you the customer's
yeah.
RFP and
I've
with the customer's name and everything, and you
pasted
just
thick
fill
that
it
shit.
out and send it back.
So you try to say a lot of these guys, they're just basically taking the load straight from the customers, but
Oh
taking the
yeah,
customer's name off, putting it and resending it right back out.
oh yeah. And then you got these guys too today. They'll get a load. They'll get a load, and they'll have customers. And we had a customer that started doing this, so we dumped them. But they would send their loads out to like 20 different brokers, and whoever called first with the cheapest truck, that's who got the load. So you're sitting there hunting trucks, hunting trucks, hunting trucks, hunting trucks all day long,
Sounds like a lumberman.
trying to cover this load, only to find out that somebody else covered it cheaper 20 minutes ago.
It
It's
sounds like a lumber mill, watermelon patch, potato
yeah,
farm, onions,
yeah, yeah,
all that
yeah,
stuff. What
yeah.
were you talking about?
This was a plastics company that did it.
There's a lot of them like that when they have that kind of volume. You just send it out
I
to
went
10.
to see him because they used to be a customer. I went to see him one day. I said, "Since you start," he goes, "What happened? We had a good relationship." I said, "You started playing that game." Well, you'd be surprised how cheap these boys will haul this freight for. No, I wouldn't. I'm not surprised.
The boss just got here and I got busted with a soda and eating a candy dish. Look at the size of it. Look, it's for
Oh
Halloween.
shit!
I know.
Deep shit
No, he still
now.
don't have a shirt. Franks don't have a shirt.
I don't have a shirt.
He don't have a hat either.
I got hats. Not
Oh,
a Shaggy hat.
it's horrible. So we'll get back to the networking. So you're trying to say even in a market like this, you can go and build relationships with brokers that aren't on load boards and get prepared and get email lists of freight from customers that probably pays better because it's getting to you before it gets on the load board.
Oh yeah. But the thing you got to be willing to do too, if you're going to do that, you got to be willing to get in a lane and work there.
What do you mean a lane? Does that mean
A
running
lane,
all
a
over?
lane. You know
You
what's a
tell
good
me you
lane?
run all
You know what's a
over.
really good lane? Nashville to Chicago is a really good lane because it pays really good going up and really good coming back. And you can run 2 a week and still take the weekend at home. Get a 3 day weekend at home. 3 days.
That's a lane. I thought a lane was going from Denver to Dallas, Dallas to Florida, Florida to New York, New York back over to Dallas, and then Dallas back to Florida, and Florida out to Denver again.
Yeah, that's a moron. That's not a lane. That's an idiot.
I knew that's why those guys were
Hey,
looking
hey, that's
at.
one of them disrespected truckers that makes a sacrifice there. I sacrifice, I leave my family every week.
Somebody says, Dan, somebody says they need lanes.
I love my boy. I love my boy Marvin. I ain't seen him in 11 years. I don't know if he's still
Somebody
living
says
there.
we're forgetting. Why are we forgetting a butt in Montana?
Butte.
Buttes.
Butte.
We like it. You can still build lanes in Butte. You just got to figure out what goes to Butte. They got steel that goes to Butte, but they got rocket, ceramic, and lime, and all this other weird shit that comes out.
Yeah.
Trees, lumber.
That's
What
what
else
that's
got
one of those
Butte?
guys on one of those other Facebook pages that ain't seen his son Marvin since for 11 years.
In Butte? You're terrible. You're going to hell.
I know. I can't help it. I see
How are
those
we
guys
going
on.
from networking?
I
I'm
see those
trying to
guys on
be
there.
serious.
I see those guys on there all the time going. Yeah, sometimes I stay out for 4 months at a
He
time. I
might have
make
been
a
watching
sacrifice. You're a
Yellowstone.
fucking idiot. You
He could
shouldn't
have
be
been.
in this business. You're too stupid to be in this business.
He could be watching Yellowstone.
He's probably he's probably sitting there watching you and me going, "What are they talking about?"
Who knows? You're probably. I need that. Carlene says I need that lane. You know, lane. So that's a great thing about networking, right? So hey, if you go out there and you just jump on the load board and you just go all different directions and stuff like that, that never helps anybody out because it never builds no product and you can never sell where you're not at, right, Frank? So you
Yeah,
start thinking about the lane, like a lane. It could be from Albany, New York to Sirius back to Buffalo. It could be, even that's something so little. Those three major cities right by each other, right?
yeah,
Or it could be Indianapolis to St. Louis, then down to Nashville and back to Indy. Charlotte, Indianapolis, Cleveland. All those are lanes and build a route. Work the city. Work them every day for 2 hours a day for just a couple of weeks. And go on, like e-carrier check. I love that site. We talk about it all the time. That's why it's right there in the back of my window.
it's
But make,
cool.
yeah, tell them why.
It's got more information on there than it's got more information on there than you can imagine. And I kid those guys, Jared, all the time. that he's going to be wind up in prison sharing all that proprietary information. But it can tell you, it can tell you the shippers wherever you, whichever city you plug in there, and preferably if you're smart, you'll plug it into one right around you. But it'll tell you all the shippers, what they ship, when they ship it. It'll even tell you which carriers are hauling their freight. It'll tell you all kind of shit.
My favorite part, Frank, is when we were on there watching it, and we're like, "Yeah, we got a brokerage," or as Corey's brokerage at the time, but even with yours, right? All you
Yeah,
got, you just type in a carrier that's been pulling for that brokerage for a while. If he's had a DOT inspection or factors a load, shit, bing, it's gonna pull it up. It's the craziest shit. You're like, how did that guy find us out? Because you got brokers that have had the same carriers forever, and they got that customer, and you can't figure anything out. You just go to that website right there, and you can figure it out.
here's a good question for you. Besides a freight factoring company, what is another method of checking shippers' ability to pay their bills or credit rating?
That's Dan Brandt, Dan the man. He's sick. Remember, Mr. Crud.
Oh, Crudley.
Crud.
Well,
That's
here,
Crud.
Shaggy's going to tell you all about that.
So you could use, see, a lot of us, because we're not factoring companies, we can't use the Sonia because the Sonia is owned by blah, 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 and it's only for the factoring companies. It's kind of like how it's regulated, like Carrier 401. So the best thing to do without a factoring company is to go with like, there's a site called Cortera, there's called TransCredit, and there's a few other ones out there where you could purchase them and use them for credit checking customers, just like you're kind of like a factoring company. And it's just so much per month, per year. You know what I mean? And you can check everything.
Old school ways, we used to have to ask them for three references and call their references.
New school way, you might still want to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so back to the network. So e-carrier check. It's really cool. So e-carrier check's pretty cool because we like it. Dan likes it. And it's really cool because it gives you the object to go and like look at any place in the United States, right? Which is really cool, right? So you can do two things. You can actually look at customers and then find out what size carriers that are pulling from them. And really, it's really weird because a lot of times when you see carriers that are 300 trucks or bigger, especially the bigger they are, they usually own brokerages. So you're like looking at the customer going, wow, if they got a trucking company and a brokerage in there, and then you see littler companies in there, you get a mixture of what's really going on. Because the little guys, you think they own a brokerage? Nope. The big
Nope.
guys, you know they do. And so they're either getting them from those carriers or they're getting the freight from other brokers, right, Frank?
Yeah, and that's another thing most people don't know because they get up every morning and turn on DAT because that's what their dispatch service teaches them how to do. But
Where the fuck
most of
did
these,
it come from?
most of
Like,
these
where the
big
hell did it
carriers,
come from? It's like
most of
it's wrote in the Ten Commandments. First commandment: you motherfuckers should get on DAT. Like, where did it come from? Like, how did that suddenly get built into the
I
program?
don't
That
know.
you can't
But
do
you
anything?
let the DAT go down one day, and you get up in the morning and turn on your computer, look at social media, and there's 732 people go, is anybody else having trouble with DOT? I got a truck sitting in Buffalo, God damn it.
Don't worry.
I
One,
can't
two,
find
three.
nothing. I can't find nothing. DAT is now because that's the only way in the world to find freights to get on DAT. Most
Oh,
people
no.
don't know that most of these big carriers have their own load boards. You got to get qualified to get on there. But let's say, for instance, JB Hunt or Schneider, you can get on those load boards
There's
and
like
bid on
four.
bid on freight. And if you are already set up as a carrier for them in Buffalo under 6 feet of snow, at least. If
Oh,
you're a carrier and you're already set up for them, you can get on those load boards and you don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to call anybody. You can just hit ding, accept, and you got the load. They just send it to you. You just pick it up and deliver it.
you can
You
see a
know,
lot more
and I
brokers
tell
doing
you,
it.
you don't hear from them very much, and you don't see a whole lot of them these days. But they're pretty smart. Schneider, if I had to do
Club
business with a
group.
Schneider, if I had to do business with a big carrier, it'd probably be them. They got better rates, they got better freight, they treat their drivers well. They learned how to do that over the years. A lot of the other big carriers did not, but they did.
Yeah, we used to get a ton of good rates from them, and we
Yeah.
never. I mean, they had bad rates too, but
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
I remember back before the Pro Choice Board or whatever the hell they call it now came out. Man, we used to get some of the best rates from U.S. Express, Schneider, and a few others, but we had to be on top of it because They're just like anybody else. As soon as it gets to where it's oversaturated, they're chopping the fucking rate too. It's
Chopping.
called business.
Yeah, JB Hunt has. They're down to nothing because, we've got a good friend, you and I, that's been hauling for them for a couple of years, and all of a sudden his rates are in the shitter. So yeah, they'll do it too. Schneider's not as quick to pull the trigger on that. They'll pay you pretty well to keep good carriers.
Oh, I was told today a lot of people are jumping over to Menards because Menards is giving you a trailer and they're keeping you loaded like crazy out of their distribution. And I think they're averaging like 230 empty and loaded. People are lining up for it now.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I get that.
Hunt's rates really suck. I'm not familiar with Hunt's too much, but I remember them always calling and trying to recruit.
Oh yeah, constantly.
So back to
They're,
so back to
but I mean, tonight's show is about networking. And that's what Shaggy and I are trying to do. We're trying to network with you. We're trying to get you guys, and a lot of you guys that are a lot of you guys are in Shaggy's group or my group. You already know this, and we're preaching the choir. And we know you just sign on because you either one, love us, or two, feel sorry for us. And we appreciate it either way. We'll take what we can get. But anyway, talking about this amongst us is networking, having these conversations, talking about it, building up. And if you learn one thing, like Schneider has a low board and they pay pretty good, or if you learn one thing, like here's how you can check somebody's credit without having a factoring company do it, or if you learn one thing, tonight, then we did what we were supposed to do. We did what we wanted to
we
do.
haven't even got to the topic yet. We're still working on it.
No, we're there. We're networking.
Oh, okay.
Wow, 230 a mile is good now. What?
No, I just told you he was talking about the Menards. If you remember a few minutes ago, I said a lot of guys are going to Menards
Oh yeah, yeah.
because they can drop their flatbeds or the equipment there. Or they don't have equipment and they're pulling their trailer because they don't charge a fee. There's no trailer fees. There's no rent on it. There's nothing. They maintain them, so they're picking it up. And 230 a mile is what is it, like fucking 60, almost 7,000 a week, a little less. So it's getting them by. Their bank accounts are still shrinking, but they're paying some of the bills. They say they're not very excited or ecstatic about it all. Trust me.
Do you recommend purchasing a truck now? If you know what you want to do with it, yeah, it's a great time to purchase a truck. Because truck prices have come down a lot in the last few months. I mean, there's a shit ton of equipment out there.
So,
Just be
so
careful.
so you're saying knowing what to do with it again is the part about, are you going to buy the truck and lease it on as an owner operator, or are you going to get your authority? And if you're going to get,
We've done shows about this, me and Shaggy, 20 times already. We probably need to do it again because we haven't done it. The difference between being a company driver, owner operator, or a carrier, and how you
right.
make those steps,
Well,
and
let's say
how
she's
you
going
feel
to
like
go, let's speed it up for her then. I'm not. Yeah,
when
well,
you're
let's say
ready to make that step. Because I see a lot of people on social media go, "Yeah, I'm gonna go buy me a truck and a trailer and get me a dispatcher and go in business and make that big money." You're already a moron. You're already broke. Just send me and Shaggy your money. We'll go fishing, spend your money for you. A lot less stress, a lot less bullshit, save you a lot of time. Just send us the cash and we'll spend it for you.
we don't mind.
Yeah,
Nope.
we don't mind. Because you're going to be out of business in about 7, 8 months anyway.
So
You're going to
back
be
to the
broke.
part, back to
Your
the
wife's going to
networking part.
leave you.
Hold on, get back to the networking part so we can
Kids
stay
are
on
going to
track.
hate you. People in your
So,
neighborhood are going to hate you. What?
so back to well, we're going to talk networking still or hating people.
No, I think networking. I think networking starts with qualifying people, asking qualifying questions, and having conversations with people, building a
But
relationship.
we were talking about how to find them first because no one wants to do the work and find them. See, first you got to find them. How do you find them? Get back to that e-carrier check thing.
Go
So
ahead. That's your thing. That's your thing. You
I
know more
was. I
about
was
it.
on it. We keep getting sidetracked. I was talking about e-carry check because this is what people don't do. If you had a software, can you find customers, rates, routes, prices for rates, or what carriers are pulling the freight for those customers, or anything like that when you're on Thomas Nap or Crate Blue Book or the load board, Frank?
I don't know.
You can't.
No, you can't.
You cannot because it just shows you where they open, some of their employee stuff, the websites, how long they've been in business. It doesn't talk about brokers, who they work with, what carriers pull for them. It doesn't show you where brokers are located. And it's really big about networking. So some of the things you guys need to do is sometimes just stop and find out where the freight is, right?
Yeah.
Take time. Do we ever do that? If it's not on the load board, it doesn't
I don't
matter,
know.
right?
You're asking me. I already told you what I would do. I'd run a truck from Nashville to Chicago and back, and you're going to get that guy that's going to go, yeah, I ain't running to Chicago. That place is a shithole. Fuck it. Okay, it's okay with me. I don't care if you're
So he
doing it.
says, whoever this on this one says, so I'm trying to help them though. Just wanted to drop in and say hello. I've been on the load board in months, built some relationships with some directs. That's what I'm talking about. Excelente. So
Yeah,
okay, so say
yeah.
that.
And how hard was that?
Well, listen up. So if you were Shatanya, and you were you just bought your truck, or you're already established. If the stuff's not on the load board, you and me both know people are still eating and stuff's still moving, right?
Yeah,
So you have to call the brokers. It's not like where's the telegram that's going to tell me where it's at if you don't find the brokers that have it.
I don't know.
So an e-carrier check, what you guys need to do, they have this great software that has like a email system on it, a phone call, and then it has like a spreadsheet on there where you can upload it to CSV files. You can actually email from there and you can call. So, and you can mark people that are off, people are bad. One of the things we have to do in war is we always have to be able to find out who's moving the freight. Like Frank said, sometimes they got customers have 10 brokers moving the freight. Sometimes it's all carriers. Sometimes it's both. And there's only two ways to find that. You have to either get out on foot or you have to make the phone calls. And what eCarrier Check does for you, it gives you the list to be able to call the brokers ahead of time when your authority's not even active yet, like we were talking about last show, and be able to build that network to call and get set up with them when you go active before you even start. Why don't we take the time to do that?
I don't know
Make
why.
those calls.
I'm really annoyed at this fucking Eva Muggs. I'm gonna call that guy tomorrow.
What are you annoyed about? Your screen keeps going crazy.
But I'm mad because I can't see who's talking to us, and that's bullshit. I have to. That's why my screen keeps going crazy because I'm jumping around from page to
Oh,
page.
I got you. Yeah, I got three screens up so I can see both sides.
Yeah.
Right on. So what else we got to talk about? Because I'm trying to get into networking, and you're still talking. I mean, they need to. You got to build a spreadsheet. You got to network. If you want to build those lanes like for Chicago to fucking Nashville, you need to find the brokers that have them. You need to
Yes, you
go.
do.
The only way to network is to go to DAT and post out 30 to 60 days from Chicago back to Nashville, Nashville to Chicago, and find all those brokers. But where's all the rest of them?
Well, if you're gonna go from Nashville, they're in your back door. If you live in Nashville, they're in your back door. If you live in Charlotte, they're in your back door. If you live in Terre Haute, they're in your back door. There's a couple ways to find them. You go to the Chamber of Commerce, like Deb Dingo says, and network with them, or you can get on e-carrier check and they'll come right to you. That you'll find out all of them, or you can get in your car and drive around the area
You
and
know what
eat
another
yourself
great thing
peanut
about
butter,
that is?
eat yourself some chicken nuggets and a Coca-Cola and drive around and see who's got trailers in their yard, where the trucks are coming and going, where they might have freights like that. What's the name of the company, that kind of thing, and call them. And here's what you're going to get. Yeah, we don't arrange the shipping here. Our place up in Chicago does that. You're going to get that. And here's another thing you're going to get. And yeah, I got all the carriers I need. I'm not putting on anybody right now. You're going to get that too. You almost never, you almost never get a customer on a first call. Never. You got to call them back 3, 4, 5 times. So
Follow up with emails.
if you log into your local chamber of commerce, they actually have programs, and you can join and go network with
A lot
all.
of times it's free. You just go to the members list,
Yeah,
the
it's all free.
registry, find the manufacturing. Most people can start right there. I
Yeah.
mean, you go to their websites, then go to LinkedIn, and then go there.
If you've got one truck or let's say 10 trucks, you don't need that many customers to be in business. You really don't. You really don't. And then when you get good, and Shaggy gets on here one night and gets all wound up and starts talking about diversify, 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 diversify. I know a guy that drives around in his one truck with his one trailer, and his wife rides with him, and they have one customer that keeps them busy all the time, and they give them extra loads. And she rides around in the truck with her husband and brokers those loads out. She sits there in the truck with her husband, makes more money than he does.
So Shatanya says, so I'm in the process of getting my brokerage set up. Do you recommend working for someone?
Absolutely. Yes, I do.
Why?
Shaggy.
Wait,
Shaggy.
I'm asking why.
Because if you become an agent for somebody, they're already going to have established credit. They're already going to have the money. They're already going to have a system. That's something you're going to have to buy. You have to buy a system if you don't already have one. Okay,
What if she has a trucking company and she wants the brokerage to help with some customers she's landed?
then you're ahead of the game in a couple of different areas. But you also, if you're an agent for somebody, you also establish another protective layer against liability because of business insurance that you might not have on your own standalone company. Now, everybody's insurance poor in this business. They run the business. Everybody knows that. So if you can afford the insurance and you can afford the bond and you already have the system in place, then you're way ahead of the game, way ahead. So,
She was going to buy it.
draw a line down the middle of a piece of legal pad and put, assets and liabilities, assets on one side, liability, and then make a decision. Decide what to do.
I think
Howdy.
wasn't
Sorry
she,
I'm late.
wasn't she buying a truck earlier though? So she's went to buying a truck and getting authority to being a broker all at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that the same person?
I don't know. I can't see.
She's in G3.
Nope.
So we still haven't got networking. We've been talking about networking and relationship. No, was just asking. Okay, cool. I was just checking. We have. So where are we at now? Because I was on
Well,
network.
we talk about how much you want to talk about networking. You post a truck on that and you start having conversations with people, or you post it on these other load boards, and you start having conversations with people. You qualify them; they will qualify you. If you call my office, if you call one of Frank's girls down at the office before before you get off the phone, they're going to know a lot of things about you because they're going to ask 4 or 5 questions, just bang, 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 bang. And it's just like having a conversation. They're not grilling you. It's not like, they hauled you in there and it's some cop interrogating you. They're just say, hey, where are you guys based? How many trucks you got?
So you're
Really?
st-
How
so you're
often are you here?
so you're saying I should call brokers up. So I should, if I wanted a round trip, like what's her name was saying, it's like speed dating.
Yeah.
It kind of is. So you're saying what I should do is go either on the load board, post my truck either in like a certain location. Do I go out 30 to 60 days or do I just act like I'm there tomorrow?
No, I'd go out 30 to 60 days and
So
just
you're
start making phone calls and having conversations.
so you want me to make it look like I have a truck there every day for 30 to 60 days so people will start calling me with that kind of freight?
And they will call you
Both ways or just one way?
both ways. You want to
Both.
set up a lane, unless you want to wind up in Buffalo under 6 feet of snow in February.
Well,
It's
if
up
they
to you.
call me, so if they call me and I answer the call and I talk to them and they don't have something I want in my lane, but they have a whole bunch of other freight going different places, should I tell them to fuck off or should I still set up an email campaign with them so they email me all their freight and get set up with them while I'm on the phone or just hang up?
That's on you. If you've set up your lanes and you've done your cost analysis on it and you know what it's going to cost you and you know what you need, stay in your lane.
So you're saying every phone call, I shouldn't put them all on a spreadsheet and get them
I
all set
wouldn't.
up? You wouldn't?
It's just me.
Are we talking about calling shippers or brokers? We
Both.
are talking right both same thing, but right now we're talking about if you're starting your authority, you're calling brokers. You should call the brokers up, and if you're like going, "Hello, hi, my name is hey, is this Frank's Logistics? Great, hey, I noticed you guys are a broker located over here, and I was just wondering since I have a fleet of trucks or a carrier, I was wondering you guys what kind of freight do you move, and do you guys have freight coming out of where I'm located? Do you have freight going in this area? And if I was to work with you guys, would you work with a carrier located that just started out? How many experience do you have? How do you send out your freight? Do you guys put all your freight on a load board? Great, I just appreciate you networking with me. Hang up and then you go to the next one.
Yep. That's what
Oh,
I
okay.
do. That's what I would do.
That's what you would do if you're not posting, because if you're posting, they're calling you specifically, right?
Yeah.
So I love the carriers who say, I don't go, what we got here? I love the carriers. I love the carriers who say I don't go there. Well, everyone has a price to go somewhere, don't they?
Well, I would think, but I can't answer that.
It depends. You know what I mean? Because like whenever we ran, I didn't like going east of Ohio, south of Tennessee, or west of freaking. Unless I had a driver that really sat there. So I mean, I really liked running in that area because it was just consistent. We could do it all the time.
It's hard to beat it. That's why that map behind you is what it is.
When- Yeah, when that guy met you, he was running those lawnmowers. Remember?
Yeah, and he was happy.
Yeah, he loved haul. We hauled the lawnmowers out of Heston and we hauled the racks in until C.H. Robinson came in and screwed it all fucking up.
They do that.
They figured out it was cheaper to go from Heston to Kansas City, put them in a warehouse, to have a shuttle take them to the warehouse, and then broker them out of that C.H. Robinson warehouse because they could manipulate the rates better in Kansas City than
Yeah,
they could in Kansas, Heston.
yeah.
Huh. Load boards are fun. They are fun. They're a tool. You have to learn how to use them. You have to learn to see the relationship side to load boards instead of getting caught up in the freight chase in the spot market. That's what really hurts people because they don't take the time to network. And when networking is important, you don't have no lanes built. So when Frank loses one of his regular guys that can't show up because his dog Mabel got hit by the car on the way out of the driveway for once in a life, so he can't make it, when he comes to find you, he doesn't want random people. He wants to be able to find somebody specifically and get it done. And if you're not posting with direction and learning to network and telling people what you really want, how the fuck are you ever going to find it? Well, you're just going to sit there and wait for it to fall out of the sky on a load board, Frank?
Got to call. Got to do the work.
How many people you really think, Frank, could use a software like eCarrier Check or even do posting, searching, or emailing with direction multiple times a day to keep themselves ahead of a list?
Those are all just tools. I mean, we're just trying to suggest tools. We're trying to suggest ways for you to start basically a conversation with somebody. Really, that's what we're trying to do. There's a whole bunch of different ways to do it, and what we're sitting here telling you is, we've been doing this long enough. These are the ways we do it. This is how we start conversations with people. How many brokers aren't on the load boards? I'm not on it.
There's a ton. I mean, it's a huge amount, and it depends too, right? Like a broker is going to stay loyal to his guys, and when the rates are like this, and make out like a bandit and cover them like a baby. But as soon as the broker has more freight than trucks, they're going to always use the load board. They're going to have to go back, but they're either going to go to the load board, or they're going to know how to go to e-carrier check and line out the carriers in person and call them direct and be like, "Yo, man, I got this freight. How much will you do it for?" Because what's weirdest part? Here's the thing for you brokers. How many carriers actually post their trucks? Right
We
now, probably a
we
lot. I
hate
don't have
we
any.
hate the load boards at my shop. Hate them. And there's I know a lot. I say a lot. I know a couple of guys around me that are small, medium sized brokers, and they do 4 or 5, maybe 8 loads a day, something like that. They've got local customers. They do it. They're not on the load boards. You don't see their freight on the load board. You don't see it there.
There's a lot
They have a
of
they have a list of carriers that they network with, that they work with, and when they get these loads, they call their carriers and say, "Hey, I got one Thursday. Can you handle it?" "Yeah, sure, send it to me." That's what they do. That's what we do.
My problem is with that, everyone's got a price, but why talk somebody into something to go somewhere they don't want to go? Why not work a little harder and find somebody that needs the load going there? Plus, you just trying to, I don't know. I mean,
You're just trying to sell a load. That's what these big companies do. All they want to do is put the load out there and get the money. They don't care. They're not building relationships. The women in trucking, not the real women in trucking. Women in trucking, that guy that they recommend, that's his method. That's what he recommends. Just bang them, bang them, bang them, get the money and move on. You don't need a relationship. That makes you weaker and it makes them stronger. That's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. And that little asshole's never had but one truck in his life, and he failed with it.
you know, risky. Why is it risky to post on load boards? There's a lot of risk to it. I mean, especially the freight. I mean, you're putting the freight out there and double brokering is like half of your journey right now to keep people from stealing your freight. I am done. Frank.
What?
I said it's 9 o'clock and I'm done.
Oh shit!
The
Is it
hour goes
really?
by fast when you're having fun. I
Kyle,
was
you
trying to
should.
keep you on
That's
track with
Kyle.
network.
That's Kyle asking those questions. Kyle, you should go over to Shaggy's house. It's only 9 o'clock, and you know damn well he's going to stay up till 2.
And he's been so busy selling insurance today, he can't even see straight.
Okay, guys, it's been an hour. I've enjoyed it. I'm glad you guys came. We'll be here every Wednesday night, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock. We will have. We will. We're here for you.
Jonathan says, speaking of insurance, hey, hit me up, man. My phone number is right here. We are hooking it up. Boom, boom, boom.
Need to hook. I don't even know who that is now.
That's Jonathan Trimble.
Oh shit! I can't. I can't. I hate this thing. I'm gonna call that guy tomorrow.
I watched the video you said about it, about the stuff.
Yeah, he just plain said no. So
Yeah, yeah, the internet
can
guy
you
in the
see who's
video.
posted? Nah, you can't do that. Just so nah, that ain't good enough.
Eli's the same way. The only reason it sucks though is we can't see anything for the page. I don't know
But
why.
other than that, I really like the software, and I'm gonna tell him that. I'm gonna say I'm gonna
It's hard
cancel
to,
this shit.
if I go live just off the page, right? We'll have
Yeah,
like 30 some odd people. But if I use EvaMux off the page and have it share, it seems like it's blocking my page.
I don't know. I've been
'Cause
going back and forth. I've been going back and forth all night. They're all there. They're all good. It's been real strong on my page and on my group and your group. Now I didn't look at either of the pages, just
Well,
the
that's what
group.
I'm talking about because I see a lot of people from the groups popping in. I just don't see people from the page.
Yeah, I don't
But if
know.
I go live from the page, it changes, like straight from Facebook. So we need to get a little better on technology. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys need hooked up with insurance, guys, you can just give us a call. Melissa's licensed, and we're working quotes and stuff. Like we've been getting a lot of people with Progressive, and Progressive's charging them a lot of money this year, and a lot of people are wanting to leave. And there's a lot of markets out there with this, and we can help you. We got a dispatch training coming up on December 12th for people that are having trouble. We got some in persons that are open. And we're working really hard at our brokerage to get freight, and we're doing some dispatching too. Just a little bit of everything, trying to help the carriers. It's rough right now all across the boards. I mean, I see China was freaking having trouble again. Like I didn't even know have they even opened.
They're trying to do another shut now.
I don't even think they've really been open longer than a couple of days. They say they hold. You think about it, they're like the last 6 months. They say 29% of United States freight.
Yeah,
And another one I was reading about, I never even paid attention. Did you know, like the largest port besides China is Hamburg, Germany?
I did not know that.
It's a big union port, and they're talking about that port. It runs more ships than anywhere else in the United States, to where it crosses them or some shit like that. And
Yeah,
they're going to strike too. I
cool.
just read
Shut
it
it
today.
down.
And then you got the railroad coming. Man, there's so many interesting things, right? All on the table at one time that could change the power of freight in a matter of minutes.
Yep, with a phone call.
What about a snowstorm? All the way down. We're
That'll
already
do it.
having snow this early, right?
Yeah, that'll do it too. All right,
Crazy.
guys. Thank you for everything.
I'm out of here too. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Same with me, guys. Check us out next Wednesday night, 8. Bring your questions. I hope we get out there more. Share the video. Tell people. We all get a hold of us if we can help you with our products, training, consulting, in persons, whatever you need. And if you're having trouble in networking or anything like that, and you want to hear us actually finish what we were going to start, but Frank always messes it up because he's a dickweed. Uh, is that Beavis and Butthead type
I'm,
thing?
no, I feel like we got where we're going with
We didn't
networking.
even finish the networking yet. We got like to the part of building a list, and Miss Moore over there is so still confused.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. Your wife came in there and caught you with your hand in the cookie jar. That's your fault.
Candy bowl, man. It's the candy bowl.
Whatever. Whatever. It's
Anyway,
not my
so guys,
fault.
check us out. Give us a call if you need us. We'll be here next week, raising hell and all that good stuff. Share the video. Tell people. Peace out.